right, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to Wednesday, which means you are live with me. And I've got a special guest over here. And real quick, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Josh, and I am a social media digital marketer. I'm in a bunch of different things, but my whole thing is I help people change the trajectory of their life by teaching them how to think differently about money, think differently about how they can make their money work for them instead of them always working for it. And that's what my goal is. But today, we're not going to talk about me at all. I just wanted to put that out there. Today, we're going to talk about that guy. And Rory is a guy that I've been following for a while. He is a social media expert. He is also the CEO of Genius Tool Pro. And I wanted to get him on today because he has an amazing story. He's got a powerful story. The guy has overcome a lot, but his success is second to none in terms of, what he's gone through and how he's brought forth his, his tribe and everything he's built. And so, Rory, welcome, man. I appreciate you being on with me today.
Most definitely, bro. I sent the live out to a couple of people.
Nice.
Yeah, because I'm always about people. I appreciate that you want it all about me, and but I'm about people knowing other people because the number one thing I believe in life, it's all about connections. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and I'll always believe that. So that little mindset shift that I have has actually made me gain success within the online world.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's cool, man. And, that's one of the things that I think is really powerful. You talk about being all about the people and, being available to help people in ways that not a lot of people do these days, right? Like, I see people do interviews like this, and a lot of times they'll get through with the interview and they'll start promoting their stuff and do whatever. And the person they were interviewing just drops off and they're just gone. And I think that the most powerful thing we can do is we can help spread the word about powerful people, especially in the online space, right? There's 3 billion people every single month that are using Facebook actively. And if we can get you to even get a small portion of that people to know your story, that's powerful in my world, right? Like that's what I want for people is to get that. So, but either way, like I said earlier, social media expert, CEO of the Genius Tool Pro. I'm familiar with the Genius Tool, like that. There's so many tools out there, but the one that, that what you're talking about here, that thing is awesome. But what I want to really dig into today is number one, first off, tell everybody who you are, what you do, how long you've been, in the marketing world, and then we'll get into the deeper stuff here a little bit.
For sure, bro. Like again, hey, thank you. Well, a lot of you guys probably don't know me. My name is Rory. I've been online for about 8 years, but I've been in business for 13, and probably longer than that because I actually worked for my parents my whole life, and I was actually the manager of my parents' company. And the one thing I learned all through these years was, you got to be a people person. You have to be. If you want to make any value of any dollar online, offline, you have to be personal with people. And that's what I teach. I teach people how to be personal with people and get inside of their emotions. And so that's where my story comes from is you might say strategies, but I just say it's common sense when dealing with people. And I think a lot of people on social media do not understand what common sense is. And I want to teach more people to be more personal over social media. And I am the CEO of Genius Tool Pro. When I launched it, I was very scared, guys, because I was in the health industry. I was into the high ticket industry, but I was never into a tool, an automation tool for Facebook. So I was really scared. I don't know if you guys have ever been scared, but I was actually scared of, failing. And I think that's the one process. And when Josh asked about my story, I'm going to dive more into that process as well. In life, we feel like we are going to fail, no matter if it's health, no matter if it's business, no matter if it's a personal relationship. your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever, right? You have that mindset like, oh my God, I could fail. Maybe this relationship won't work, right? Maybe she's gonna get tired of me, or say that I'm online too much, or whatever, and I'm going to fail at that relationship, or even a job. We all know that we all need to start a business in 2021, but the fact is, if you are having a job, a 9 to 5, back of your head, you are still thinking, I could fail. I could lose my job and I could lose my family. Because if I'm not paying the bills, or I'm not taking care of my duties, guess what's going to happen? Hopefully, I pray to God that your family don't leave you, but that could happen in the worst case scenario. And that's what I want people to know. Hey, it's okay to fail.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point you make there too, is that a lot of people don't realize that failure is a natural part of growth, right? Like, you learn the most from when you're failing, and that's when you make mistakes, you learn how to not make those mistakes again. Hopefully, right? Like that's the goal. You want to learn to not do the same things that caused you the demise before. And so that kind of leads me into like, the background, right? You've been in the online marketing world for 8 years, been in the business world for 13, plus years. And when you made the shift to online, like how hard was that at that point in time? And we're talking 8 years ago, guys. This was, 2012. The internet was still, the internet's been around for a while, but it wasn't as like it is today. What kind of a mindset shift was that for you?
Well, it was hard, to be honest with you, but it was easy as well because, even though that I was into music and stuff like that, rapping and stuff like that, um, I was into, by the way, I was a music artist as well. But the one thing that was hard, because I had to go from talking into person, hey, my name is Rory. I like this job. I like this community. So I would like to work for you, or I can serve you. I can mow your grass, or whatever the job was. That was easy to talking to people because I can actually talk to people. I can compensate, or even if that's a word, I've been using it for years. But having conversation with people in person was like 10 times easier for me. But the difficult thing was getting people to pay attention online. And I was like, man, I'm doing everything I did in the corporate world, into the 9 to 5 world. Why is this so hard? I have a product and service that can serve people, but why is it so hard to get people to take the interest into looking at this opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
Then I've learned some tricks, and I mean, I don't want to say tricks, but strategies that make people not feel that you're getting sold to.
Sure. Yeah, and that's very powerful in itself too, because when you're not feeling like you're being sold to, your guard isn't up, right? You don't put those
Right.
walls up and say, "Hey, I don't want to get sold to." You start just kind of relaxing a little bit. I found that with myself. I find that with people I talk to. So going through your online journey, and obviously building a business online and going there, what was the turning point for you where you realized that being online was the right decision?
Actually, it was before my mom passed away, a couple months ago. My mom said something to me about 5 years ago. And, I was dealing with the illness and everything like that. But she said something to me. She said, son, you are going to be a millionaire. I said, why you say that? She says, the way you talk to people makes people feel safe. And when she said that, I was like, okay, now I'm going to go full force and I'm going to make this work. And it took me years to make it work. It took me years, right? And I'm not going to be on here and say I'm a big successful expert that blah blah blah, because that's not me. But I made enough of success to get a little piece of a name over social media. And, instead of thinking that I can help everybody, I only want to help one person at a time, instead helping thousands of people, because the scientifically proven that most humans cannot help more than two people. Because if you help more than two people, you can't duplicate that.
Mhm.
So why do it? Why put yourself through that stress? That stress. And I think I have I have a problem with stress, and so I never wanted to feel that. So when my mom told me that, I knew that I was on my way to the right way. You know what I mean? So I mean, my mom was my biggest drive, and a lot of people thought I was going to quit everything when my mom died,
Mhm.
because my mom was my best friend. So actually, my business, to tell you the truth, my business went from here to here when my mom died. I got over 30 customers, or clients, you might say, in 24 hours after my mom died. So, it's great. You know, and I think the one powerful thing is knowing who you are.
Mhm.
When you know who you are, and you know your why, and you know you're actually, because there's three pillars to a why. It's your why. It could be your kid, and then you got to think about, why is that your why? Okay, you go, because I want them to have a better life. Okay, let's be realistic. Your
Mhm.
why is not your kids. Your why is yourself, because you want to be successful. Then they can take a not take advantage, but they can benefit your success. Then you can take care of your family. So that's the three pillars of what your why should be, and most likely is.
For sure. No, that makes perfect sense. And you're absolutely right that a lot of people they get mixed up on what their why truly is. And I'm a firm believer that, when somebody says, "Oh, well, my kids are my why," and it's like, okay, well, why? Like, why are your kids your why? Let's go deeper, And they say, well, I want to provide for them. Okay, well, why do you want to provide for them? Well, I want to make sure that they don't have the kind of life that I did growing up. Okay, why? Like, you basically keep asking that question, why, until you get to a moment where you can't go any further,
Mhm.
and you get to that deep connection, which I will go as far to say 99% of the time is something deep within themselves that
Yeah.
drives them to everything, and then pushes that forward. So that's super awesome. And so going from, obviously, and I know that your mom passed away recently, so my condolences for that. But that transition, I know, like, from watching your stories and watching your lives, that transition that you had, I see a different person, obviously, now than before. What, like, let everybody know kind of what happened there. Like, you talked about how your mom gave you that information. She told you that you're going to be a millionaire. She told you that you're going to be successful. But what happened at that moment that just really woke everything up for you? And now you're just like, I can tell now you're just energized, right? Like, you're just
Yeah.
pushed. What happened?
Um, to tell you the truth, realization. When you're the baby, or if you're the oldest, no matter what, you lose your parents, you lose your mom. My mom was my best friend. I lived with her for 25 years, and realization came to my brain. And that realization was, I only got myself now. I can't depend on my mother. Oh, mom, can I borrow $500 or $1,000 to take a loan? Then I can invest into this opportunity or invest into this training, right?
Mhm.
I don't have nobody now. So now I have myself to depend on, and then I can actually go and get it for myself, and then I don't become homeless, or I don't become a beggar. You might say, people who beg and they don't want to get off their butts and actually go get them themselves. So that drive right there, me losing my mom, most people would be sad and everything like that. Being part of Native American, we believe in the journey of how we have to say our goodbyes, yeah, but we have to live our life and live a great example for them. So that being said, my mom training me through the years, making my mindset correct. She gave me the willness and she gave me the success that I needed. Right? She taught me more than a $5,000 program from Ty Lopez. You know what I mean? I mean, like my mom taught me some things that has helped my business, and I can't be on here and say, "Hey, I created the business and I became successful because of me." It's because my mom gave me the ropes of how to be intelligent instead of being average mind thinking. Right? So to your question, it was my mom passing away. That's what made me get hyped up to get very knowledgeable and do a video every day, guys. I'm doing a story every day. It could be educational, could be products, it could be whatever. I'm gonna get on camera because actually this one famous guy said, I shoot videos every day on social media because I want my face all around the world where everybody sees me. And so when I heard that, I was going to take that and do that every day. And I did it like 7 years later, but still now I'm all over. So people go, Rory's that one dude with eating disorder, stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll admit too, and I don't think there's any shame to that. If as far as people go, hey, who's who's that one guy that does the videos, the guy with with no teeth or whatever, and you go, oh, Rory, people come up with that, and it's not a dig, right? It's not to be offensive. It's like people recognize you based on you, and you've embraced that. And you don't let that stop you from letting people hear your voice, from letting people see your face. You don't put anything to cover it up. You don't do anything to make it seem different, right? You don't sit yourself behind a PowerPoint and try to make it where people don't know who you are. You're putting yourself out there, and that's what's important. And you're doing it shamelessly, right? You're not out there trying to be somebody you're not. And I think that's the most powerful thing. So, one question that actually I was thinking about here as we're talking is, so what led from going I guess here's I'll rephrase this question a little bit. What was the decision to go for like the genius course, right? Like, so I know that was something that was kind of in the works for a while, and you kind of finally put it to fruition. And it sounds like that's been going pretty well for you, and you've been able to get some traction on that. So where did that come from?
Well, I created the Genius Mindset brand about 4 years ago because I went to a doctor and they told me, Mr. Bressler, you're a genius. I went, why you say that? They said, because anybody who can control when they eat and the way they eat is genius. Because it takes a big mindset shift to actually control your body and your mind. And so I took that. I don't know if it was an insult or if it was a little motivation that the older lady was trying to give me. But I took that and it's like, okay, everybody is a genius, but there's different levels of geniuses. Doesn't mean you got to be the smartest person in the world. It doesn't mean you got to be the most intelligent with a 4.0 with an IQ of a 190 or whatever. It's just how you deal with life in your mindset. Everybody has that genius thought process, but not everybody takes action. So I created the Genius brand. Then I was like, okay, I had the Genius entrepreneur lifestyle clothing gear. Then I that failed. I failed at that. Then I had the struggle is real. You guys probably seen it in the stores.
Yep.
I had that. Then, you know, bad business came with that. It's okay. But then I went back to the Genius, and then I came with Genius Lifestyle Podcast. Then that went pretty well. I nailed what attraction marketing was, because, like you said, I'll go in a video and I'll tell somebody, "Hey, so can you," right? That's like my slogan. Actually, that is my slogan. How I attract people, right? People go, "Okay, wow, that dude with no teeth, he's not scared." You know, so when the beginners come in the world and they are scared to be on camera, right? We all been through it. We
Mm-hmm.
all been through the camera shyness,
Yep.
or the live shyness. It's like when you're doing a live by yourself, you feel like you're talking to yourself. Especially if you don't have a big audience. You're like, man, I don't know what to say next, blah, 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 blah. Then people tell you write a script, and then 90% people can't even follow a script. Then you don't know what to do. So I created Genius Tool Pro because I wanted something where people can stay organized, right? Because being business owners, we all been through this. The inbox can get so full, or so much activity. And if we aren't organized, and yeah, we could write it on a piece of paper. Yeah, we could put it in a spreadsheet. But what happens if you forget your password of your Google account? What happens? All your days are bye-bye. You have
Big
piece of
problem.
paper. Piece of paper. You know, you part of the dad life community. What if your son or daughter spills juice on it? Guess what? It's bye-bye. All
Mhm.
those leads are gone, because you don't know who to look up now. Like, who was I talking to? Man, right? So I want to figure a way how to, three things. I want to figure a way how to get people to stay organized within the inbox. And then I wanted to figure out a way to help people figure out what is a lead and what is not a lead. And then I wanted people to figure out how to color coordinate a flow of certain tags, right? So if we have like a welcome, or we have a follow up, or a ghost follow up, or whatever, or a book a call, right? So now you can have a process instead of having, okay, when do I book this call? When do I book this call? Right? Or you have a conversation that is lasting for weeks and weeks and weeks. You just need to stop it. There should not be nothing. There should be a little questionnaire, little thing. Be real about it, but have a questionnaire, and then you can book a call, right?
Right.
Right. I mean, I don't I'm not the type of person to brag, but not just anybody gets interviewed by six-figure earners, right? Or six-figure earners are actually using my strategies, right?
Mhm.
Not anybody, but I'm not a person to be on camera to brag, because I'm not that way. You know, I just found a simpler way how to attract people. That's all.
For sure. No, that's awesome. And, that's something that's really needed these days. There's a lot of people out there that, they do struggle with organization. And that's one thing that I'm very thankful I don't struggle with that. I actually get a lot of people that, if I'm like doing a screen share and I'm like showing my organizational skills, or they see my browser, like I have my browser bar, my favorites bar is just a bunch of folders, and people go, well, where's all your tabs? And I start clicking on the folders, and there's all, nice and organized inside there and stuff like that. But there's so many people out there that aren't, right? And there's so many people out there that they don't know how to do that. And so having a tool like that, like the Genius tool, that allows people to kind of get into that realm of being able to organize, even if it's just their conversations, their leads, whatever they've got going on Messenger and things like that, and on Facebook, like even just that little bit can make the biggest difference for people.
Yes.
And it's really cool that you've been able to put that out there. So, we're getting close to wrap up time here. But I do want to, ask you here. So let's say somebody wants to get a hold of you. They want to be able to reach out to you. Obviously, they can find you on Facebook. But, what are some other ways that people can get a hold of you or even learn more about the Genius tool or what you do?
Actually, to tell you the truth, it's all about Facebook. I utilize Facebook to the T.
Okay.
So you want to find me, get to know my story. Even if you just want to know my story, how I went from 109 pounds to 170 pounds, just reach out to me on Facebook, and I will reply to you in a amount of time. Don't get crazy if it takes me a while to reply, but I will get in touch with you guys because I like connecting people. So
for sure. Yeah, and just for everybody that's watching here, I just put it down below, facebook.com/rory.bressler.79. Just threw that down there for everybody so that way they can see that. And yeah, I mean, dude, it's awesome to see, see your transformation over the last amount of months, since I started following you last year here, and just seeing your growth and seeing your journey. And then even around the time that when your mom passed away, and being able to take that inspiration that she gave you over those years and use that as a way to move yourself forward. I think that's super powerful. I think that's, something that's inspirational for a lot of people. And I know that you're going to touch a lot of people's lives, man. And I mean, you already do, right? Like I see it all the time. People that are on there talking about how they love your stories. They love what you do. They love the things that, that you're all about. And it's awesome. So,
sure.
Last thing is, for those of you watching, those of you catching on live or the replay, definitely hit Rory up. If you haven't been following him, go follow him. His stories are inspirational. His lives are inspirational. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get him on here, because he definitely has a good head and a good heart. And that's something that's really important in this online world. And so any last thoughts, anything, golden nuggets or anything like that you want to tell everybody?
Yeah. Do not be afraid to tell your story to the people, because your story, just a couple words of your story, can change somebody from killing themselves, can change them from just leaving their wife or husband, right? Your support matters to them. So your story could change their life. So
that's awesome, dude. That's so awesome. So thank you again, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to be able to get on here and tell your story and let everybody know, what's going on in your world. And I know we'll be seeing each other around for sure. And again, just for those of you that want to be able to connect with Rory a little bit, you can go down there, facebook.com/rory.bressler.79. And otherwise, you, my friend, have yourself a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon.
all right.